Good morning from the Villages, Florida. My name is Kelly, and this is episode 1 of Knitting and Crocheting in the Villages. Since this is episode 1, I'm not exactly sure what the format's going to be going forward. I'll probably follow the same format as most other people doing knitting and crocheting podcasts. I'll talk about my finished object, what I have currently in process or my whips, future plans for knitting and crocheting, and maybe talk about anything I've acquired along the way as far as patterns, tools, yarn. Before I get started on the projects, let me first share a little bit about where I live here in Florida. The Villages is located in central Florida, about 45 miles north of Orlando and about midway between the Gulf and the Atlantic. It's the largest over 55 or retirement community in the world. It covers approximately 57 square miles across 3 counties and has 150,000 residents. Currently, there are over 100 recreation centers in the Villages. Today, I'm at the Riverbend Recreation Center in the village of Monarch Grove. My first recently finished object is this crocheted blanket. I'll put it up closer so you can kind of see some of the stitches on it. This is a really easy crochet blanket. It's kind of my go-to blanket that I use for doing baby blankets or gifts for people. It's a really easy 1-row repeat. I made this one out of Joann's Big Twist yarn. I don't remember the colorway, but I think it had something to do with Christmas, obviously by the colors. My second finished object is another crocheted blanket. This one uses what I think is called the popcorn stitch. I got this from a YouTube video, and I tried to find it again, but unfortunately couldn't find the video. But it's a nice, fairly easy pattern to follow. The back side is just plain, and then the front side has these fun little popcorn stitches on it. This was also made from Joann's Big Twist yarn. Next, I have 2 knitting finished objects. They're both the Raina Shawl by Nora Backlund. For this, I used 2 strands of fingering weight yarn held together. The variegated color here across the bottom is Arcane Fiberworks Garden Flowers, and the purple color is Arcane Fiberworks Plum. And throughout the whole thing, you can see some pink color in there. That yarn is Katia Air Luxe in the color Cranberry. So I held that together throughout with the other 2 colors. For this one, I held together 2 strands of fingering weight yarn. The red color is the Cascade Heritage Sock yarn in the colorway Wine. And the second color is Katia Darling in color number 209. Next, I'll go over my current projects or things that I have in progress. Whether or not I'm actually currently working on them or not is another story. This is the start of a blanket from a pattern called Rubik by Tina Thoradottir. She's from Iceland, and she has a whole series of patterns on mosaic crocheting. Uh, the nice thing about this pattern is she has several different combinations of this pattern. The way these square blocks are put together, these square blocks here, the way you put them together in different patterns and different colors. And then she also has some examples of blankets and pillows and different things that she's made from this pattern. So it's a really fun pattern. If you haven't tried mosaic crocheting, it's a little different because each row is independent. So you start each row with a color, you crochet all the way across to the end, and then you cut it. So it's one of those projects that if you don't like it when you get to the end and you decide to frog it, you're going to have lots and lots of single strands. This is what the back looks like, but the front is really nice. So I don't know. Should I continue this one? Could I pick it back up and finish it? We'll see. The next whip I have is the Halda Cowl by Audrey Borrego. This Halda pattern includes instructions for cowls and scarves. You first have to use a provisional cast on at the beginning. This was the first time I've done a provisional cast on. So that worked out okay, I guess, once I figured out how to do it. And then you go all the way to the end and then piece them together using the Kitchener stitch into a cowl. For this one, I'm using Cascade Heritage sock yarn. I don't have the color numbers with me. I'll either post them on the screen or I'll include them when I show this as a finished object. My next finished object is a Musselburgh hat. The pattern is by Isolde Teague. I'm sure many of you know of and have probably knit this pattern. For this one, I'm using fingering weight yarn and a size 1 needle, which ended up giving me the smallest gauge for the pattern of 9 stitches per inch. I'm using 2 different colors of Cascade Heritage sock yarn. The first one is Cascade Heritage Wave. I don't have the color number yet. I'll give that again either on the screen somewhere or when I conclude it as a finished object. And then I've added that color to the bottom half, and I'm making this in 2 colors. My last work in progress is the Salty Days sweater. This pattern is by Veronica Lindberg. She has many sweater patterns. I like her patterns. I like her YouTube videos. This is my first attempt at making something this complicated. So far, that's where I'm at on it. All I have left to do now is the sleeves and the collar, and this will be done. I'm making this in size small. I don't know who I'm going to give it to when I'm done. Maybe by then my 1.5-year-old granddaughter will be big enough to wear it. Recent acquisitions. I'll cover the yarn that I've recently purchased in the next video. For this one, the only thing I'll include as a recent purchase is my Chowgu red lace 12-inch circular needles. I found that while I was making the Halda cowl, that the 15-inch was too big, and I had to really stretch the stitches to get them to go around the 15-inch. I tried my 9-inch circular needles, but that was too small. So, of course, I went on Amazon and found the Chowgu 12-inch circular needles. So I'll mention a couple of books that I'm currently reading right now, or I have just completed reading. The one that I've just finished reading is called The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, and that's by Theodora Goss. Here's a summary of the book. Mary Jekyll, alone and penniless following her parents' death, is curious about the secrets of her father's mysterious past. One clue in particular hints that Edward Hyde, her father's former friend and a murderer may be nearby, and there is a reward for information leading to his capture, and a reward that would solve all of her immediate financial woes. But her hunt leads her to Hyde's daughter, Diana, a feral child left to be raised by nuns. With the assistance of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, Mary continues her search for the elusive Hyde and soon befriends more women, all of whom have been created through terrifying experimentation. Beatrice Rappaccini, Catherine Moreau, and Justine Frankenstein. When their investigations lead them to the discovery of a secret society of immoral and power-crazed scientists, the horrors of their past return. Now it is up to the monsters to finally triumph over the monstrous. I just completed reading that one. It was a really good book. It's actually a trilogy. I read the first two already, and I'm working on the third one right now. I also listen to audiobooks when I go walking in the morning. I usually go walking 4 or 5 days a week for about 3 to 6 miles. So in a 2 hour walk, it's nice to have something to listen to. What I'm listening to now is called A Secret History of Witches by Louisa Morgan. Here's the summary. After Grandmère Ursula gives up her life to save her tribe, her magic seems to die with her. Even so, her family keeps the old faith, practicing the spells and rites that have been handed from mother to daughter for generations, until one day Ursula's young granddaughter steps into the circle and magic flows anew. From early 19th century Brittany to London during the Second World War, 5 generations of witches fight the battles of their time, deciding how far they are willing to go to protect their family, their heritage, and ultimately all of our futures. I think that's all I have for episode 1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. The Villages, Florida. The Villages. They're both the Raina Shawl. They're both the Raina Shawl by Nora Blackland. Backlund. They're both the Raina Shawl by Nora Backlund.